but it does come dismantled with the motor and the motor mount in two separate pieces, as it should. Now, when you get it, it comes with the front mount, the motor, and it comes with the largest bearing attached, and then it also comes with the two other bearings, replacement O-rings, and things like that, and then your little Allen keys to replace the equipment. Now, this particular machine did not come with super lube, but it came with super lube already inside of the cam and on the motor. The reason this is a pretty big deal is because it makes it run very well right out of the box. It's an artificial lubricant that really helps lubricate the inside of the cam and the drive slot, which presses the needle down. Now, if you take a good look at this piece right here, this is an actual milled CNC piece. This is pretty scary right here because this is a very fine piece of equipment, and what scares me about it is it looks like a real Stigma. It's even got a metal, this up here is even perfectly aligned, and it's a real metal needle bar. It's ridiculous. This thing's all lubricated. It runs like my real machines. Even the inner workings in the machine and the cam drive looks like it's real. It looks like a real Stigma. It's just missing the serial number right here on the bottom near the thumb screw for the tube attachment. Now, it only runs on RCA. The power supply I'm using right now doesn't have updated firmware because this is the backup to my backup. I'm actually at home right now. But the backup to my backup only runs for a few seconds because it's not made for rotaries. But, you know, just like a Hummingbird, this is the motor. This is the knockoff motor at 9 volts. I am not shitting you. We are at 9 volts with the largest bearing. And it's got about, I'm clocking right now at about 450 cycles per second. And it's smooth. Zero vibration, very, very clean, and it's almost silent. It's virtually silent, this motor. And this is a knockoff. This is not a Stigma motor. This is a knockoff motor. Now you attach the motor to the inside of the front cam, and you adjust it to find where you want it at. Now at 9 volts, this is kind of high for a Stigma, and it knocked down to about 412 cycles per second. But as you can see, this machine it's serious. This machine is not messing around. Even with adjustments, it has an incredible amount of give on it. It bogs correctly. It runs virtually silent. There's no dragging or scraping or loud noises. And at 9 volts, that's basically the maximum you should be running a Stigma at, is at 9 volts. If I bring it down, I can bring it down all the way to 3-4 volts, and it starts catching drag. Where this is the issue with it here is that it won't start at like not 0.9 of a volt. It won't start. It won't start itself. Real Stigma machines are basically pretty good about doing that, but yeah, see, there you go. Real Stigmas will actually start this low, but if I bring it up just one little knock higher, it starts pretty easy. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. This particular knockoff was $19. Don't know if any of you can, grasp that, but this is about a $600 machine from Stigma. That's directly from the manufacturer, and you're looking at about, $600. Now, I can fully rotate the back motor here, and it does not affect the drive slot on the cam. I can do whatever I can play with it, mess around with it. It's really ridiculous how well this thing runs for a knockoff. I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty appalled at the make of this. That this particular knockoff is, it's running this well. That it's actually, it's actually running like a Stigma should. And after working with it and playing with it, it has a faster cycle than my Stigma Bazaar. That's kind of ridiculous in my opinion, to be completely honest. But, you know, as far as reviewing this particular machine goes, I've seen a lot of knockoffs in my day. I've reviewed a lot of knockoffs. I've even tattooed and used knockoffs to see how well they work, and had people volunteer and let me use them on their skin. And as far as this one goes, I am fucking shocked at how well this thing runs. Like, I can bring it up. I can bring it up here to about 13 volts. And at 13 volts, it's still running very hard and very smooth, because the vibration up in the front is pretty little. And then even if I disconnect the motor, it's the front of the cam that actually makes the noise when it's being cycled. And when you, even though it's being run, if you look in the very front of the cam for the drive housing, it's not being scraped or, you know, run down. That it's actually running smoothly in a manner that it's supposed to. Because all this bearing does is run in the circle and drive the cam down, which causes the needle bar to move up and down. And there's a spring at the top that creates an artificial give when it's curled backwards. It creates an artificial give right here. I mean, it makes it a little bit louder because there's a large slap at the very top of the frame here, and it sounds kind of weird. Yeah, but it allows me to I can physically drive the needle bar back with my thumb, which is big for tattooing with large needles, or when you're trying to get a little bit of artificial give out of it. So as far as for knockoffs, as far as this goes for me, you know, at 13 volts, if it's doing this, I mean, this is pretty freaking ridiculous. But as far as it goes for knockoffs, this really takes the cake. I'm absolutely appalled.